Hello everyone and welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. Today's video is a complete healing video. We're going to take you from active lesion to completely healed in this video. And I'm going to take it even a step further. I'm going to take it to not only healed, but till this foot is completely filled in, nothing left. And I'm going to tell you what, before we get started on this is an extensive lesion, so prepare yourself. So what we're dealing with here is a white line defect that has abscessed, and this defect is located right along that abaxial wall, right about at the top of the toe triangle. The reason that these happen and the reason that these form has to do with this corkscrew rotation. If you look at the way this foot's trimmed up near the top, I didn't take anything along that wall, and it's kind of tapered in. That's from that rotation. That's how I have to correct that. Here you can get a good look at what that lesion looks like. You can see that almost pimply appearance of that lesion. That's what digital dermatitis looks like when it infects live corium. It's got that whitish mottled look. Healthy corium will be nice and smooth and flat. When it gets that white bumpy appearance, that's how you know you've got dermatitis colonized on there, and that's what's preventing any healing from happening and any new horn production from happening near this separation. So like you've seen many times, what I've got to do, I've got to fully expose that lesion if I'm going to get it to heal. And this is the tricky part, because when we're dealing with lesions in that toe triangle area, it can sometimes work up the front face of that wall, that dorsal wall, and so that can be kind of tricky to cut away, but it's still got to be done. So we're going to work that away. We're going to get that out of there, and then that'll completely expose that damaged corium. And then we got to get that dermatitis cleared up to get this to begin to heal. If you've watched a lot of my videos before, you've heard me talk about not wanting to remove that abaxial wall. And in this case, I have to remove that because, as you can see, portions of that wall horn are actually pinching in on that corium. And in order to get that infection to clear from that, I have to be able to pull that horn away from that corium. You can tell it's constricting there, and I don't want that. So I have to remove the wall in that case to allow that to happen. So that's why I did that. Most cases, I'm going to want to leave that. Here you can see as we zoom in, you can get another good look and see what that dermatitis looks like on that lesion. And you can see how I've removed that wall in that area where it was impeding on the corium. I've still got some work to do to thin these margins out along here, just so there's not any pinching. But you can see where the active lesion is. That has now been cleaned up. So we can get a wrap on this, salicylic acid wrap. That's going to help kill that dermatitis and get her started on this healing process. With the extent of this lesion, obviously, this is going to take a couple treatments to get this cleared up. So now let's fast forward ahead 4 full weeks and take a look at this. As you can see, if you look up toward the heel section of this, there's still plenty of swelling in that claw. But when we go down and take a look at the lesion, we can see that's beginning to fill in. It's actually improved well beyond what I thought it would after a month. But we still got, obviously, there's a lot of swelling there, so we still know that there's trauma inside that claw that needs to heal. So let's get this cleaned up a little bit and see what it looks like. So as I start to pare away this horn here, you can be able to see that hemorrhaging that I was talking about, or that trauma inside the foot, manifesting itself in the layers of that sole that I'm removing as that hemorrhage spot, that dark purple area in the middle. You can tell I knew that was going to be there based on just the swelling in that claw. I knew that pedal bone is causing trauma not only toward that toe triangle, that area where that lesion was that we were working on, but also in the entire claw underneath that flexor tuberosity, or basically the part that hooks the deep flexor tendon to the pedal bone. I'm getting a little too complicated maybe right now, but that's where that hemorrhaging is, and that's why we're seeing that big swollen area there. Likely there's some trauma up in and around the pedal bone itself, those tissues, that's not only causing that swelling but causing that hemorrhaging that we're seeing. So now we move on. We're going to move down to this the initial lesion that we were working on here and get that cleaned up a bit too. As I start working in this lesion site, you can really see the power of that salicylic acid. In my opinion, there's nothing that I could have used to spray on this that could have possibly gotten the results that this did in 4 weeks. That corium is producing new horn again, and it's produced, I would say, maybe 1/8 of an inch. So within a week or two of that treatment, that corium was healed up enough to really start producing quality horn again. There is one little hemorrhage spot up above there, that red dot. It's not bleeding. It's actually in the horn itself. You'll see it here in a minute. I'll be able to trim that away. But aside from that, it's pretty good quality horn, except right along the white line in that amount of time, which is pretty impressive. Like I said, there's still a crack there that we got to get cleaned out a bit, but this is doing much better than even I would have hoped. As we zoom in here, you can get a look at that hemorrhage area. You can see it's starting to fade. If you look up into the layers underneath that, you can see it's kind of fading away, which means that's starting to resolve itself. And as we look down toward the initial lesion site, you can see that's pretty well healed in. There's still some more I got to remove there, but you can see that's pretty good quality horn considering the amount of trauma that was there. Let's finish that up, and then we're going to get this foot down. We're going to fast forward ahead the next time we take a look at it. 3 full months. So it's going to allow that entire claw, that area to fill in, and that area that we're looking at now to grow out toward the toe, and we'll see what it looks like then. I get questions a lot about why I use oversized blocks, and this is a perfect example of why I do that. Even after 4 weeks, this block is still positioned perfectly, and I can leave it be. So now we're going to jump ahead from the end of October all the way to the end of January. Why did I wait 3 months to shoot this final follow-up? I wanted to show this sole completely filled in and uniform once again. There's still some curvature left and still a little bit of rotation, but as you can see, it's improved greatly from this time back in September all the way till now at the end of January. And now, the final test. We got to let her out and see how she walks on this new foot. So as you can see, with a little perseverance, you can get these cows, even with severe trauma like this, back to full health once again. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you all on the next one.